Hello, my name is Dr. Nate Lambert, and I'm excited to show you some strategies today that could really transform your financial future. Let me begin by sharing a little bit of my story with you. So I actually was a graduate from Brigham Young University. I was the valedictorian of my class, and I love to learn. And I thought, hey, I want to just keep learning. I want to be a professor of family psychology. So after I graduated, I decided I'm going to go to Florida State University because that's where the best family psychology professor in relationship research was. So I went and got my PhD. And Frank Fincham taught me how to publish like crazy. I wrote over 70 research articles and 7 books. In fact, my research became known around the world. I got awards in Australia, went and presented my research in the Middle East, and got invited to special symposiums in England, in Birmingham, England, among other places, traveled the world, enjoyed learning, and then, the excitement of the PhD thing kind of wore off. And I'll be honest, I started feeling a little bit like this guy. Just bored, right? I published as much as I needed to be to have a job for the rest of my life, and I didn't need to publish anymore. So I felt like this guy who said, if I died and went straight to hell, it would take me a week to realize I wasn't at work anymore. So really, I mean, I got anxious, and I started reading all the books I could find on building wealth. And you know what they all told me to do? They said, invest in real estate. So I started this journey, but first I got my own house, right? So I bought my house, and I looked at the amount of my money that was going to principal versus interest. Almost all of it was going to interest. And I noticed that most of my, so much of my income was going to taxes every month. I wasn't too excited about this. In fact, I read that 95% of people by the age of 65 are disabled, dead, or broke. There's only 1%. There's only 1% that are truly wealthy. So what do you think those people do? Well, the wealthy 1%, and 74% of them invest in real estate and are business owners. So I thought, God, I want to learn how to do that. And that sounds like a lot of fun. So let me ask you this. Why would you want to invest in real estate? Well, there's a couple great reasons. For one, it's an ideal investment. The I standing for income. I've made as much as $109,000 on a single flip. Deductions. I've got over 29 rentals now that I'm getting a tax deduction. Even though the values on the property are going up, I get to write this depreciation off on my taxes. It's amazing. Equity. I've got so many tenants in my properties that are paying down my mortgages every month. So my equity is rising and rising and rising, as is the value of the homes. Most nest eggs get smaller and smaller. Well, real estate, guys, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Because of appreciation, usually about 5% a year on average. And another powerful thing about real estate is the leverage that you can get. So think about it this way. I put $7,000 on the first property that I bought, and this property was worth $300,000. It's already worth $450,000, and in another 10, 15 years could be worth $600,000 easily. So think about that $7,000, if the value of the property doubles over 20 years, is a $300,000 return. Now you put that same $7,000 in the stock market and doubles in 20 years, you got a $7,000 return. That's the power of leverage, buying homes with down payments. It's exciting stuff. So I decided, hey, I'm going to jump on this path. But I knew, just like going to Florida State, I knew that I had to get a good mentor to show me the way. So I jumped into a program called Strongbrook. Now, Strongbrook focuses on turnkey real estate. And they did help me get into my first property. And they got me excited about real estate, so that was great. But then I realized I wasn't really learning a whole lot about how to do this. And in fact, that one property took all the money I had saved up. And so I was realizing that I wasn't going to be able to do another property for another 4 or 5 years. So I decided, okay, I need to get creative here. Who else can help me? So I joined a company called Rich Dad. If you've heard of the books Rich Dad, Poor Dad, this is the kind of education that you get. So, you know, I went to a 3-day boot camp, and I jumped into their program. Here's the problem with Rich Dad and most groups like that is they are like the circus. They come into town, they give you a good show for a few days, and then at the end of the weekend, they're leaving town. And you're stuck wondering, how am I going to make this work? How can I do this? So I tried again. I decided to get my realtor's license. And I thought, hey, I'm going to flip this house that I live in. I'm going to finish the basement and, you know, I'm going to sell it for a profit. So, you know, that worked out okay, except that I was on a professor's salary and I already used all the capital I had to buy that investment property. So I didn't have much left. So I had to leverage. I had to put everything on credit cards, max out my credit cards, get a loan, my 401k. I had nothing left. In fact, I was driving to a real estate conference one day when my car broke down, and it was awful because I didn't have the money to fix it. There was no money left, and so I had to beg my older brother to let me use his car until the house could sell, and then it still didn't sell until I figured out one thing that made all the difference. I'll come back to that a little bit later. But first, at this time, and the people who taught me this one trick was Renatus. Renatus means rebirth in Latin, financial rebirth. And there was something different about this group. It wasn't just come into town and leave you high and dry. This was a community with 52 classes taught by 22 multimillionaire instructors that I could listen to and learn, and then I could actually go and meet with people who were doing deals and ask them what they did to make the kind of profits they were making. It was powerful. And I saw, oh my gosh, all these people are doing so many deals. I gotta jump into this. So I did, and that's made all the difference for me. It was scary because it's not cheap. Real estate education is not cheap. In fact, most programs charge $70,000 to $100,000 or more. But it paid off very well for me. These are just a couple examples of some of the over 40 deals that I've done now. This one made $96,000. Then I decided, hey, I really want a motor home, but that's a liability. How can I turn this into an asset? Well, I thought, what if I rented it out? And whenever I'm not using it, which was most of the time. So I'd rent it out and then I'd make a cash flow on it. So Nick and I partnered up and we made a $6,000 cash flow in a single month last August. Now, the principles that I'd learned were not only helping me get great returns for my business, but they were helping me with my family life as well. My wife wanted to move into a home. She was sick of renting. And so, I found a house on seller financing, which is a principle that we teach. And so I got this house. Now, you might ask, Nate, what's the return on investment if you're living in this house? Well, here's the return. A happy wife. And those of you who are married know that this is an infinite return. So, that was a great one. I started flipping houses. This is one of the first houses I flipped. We made $32,000. Again, I partnered with someone who was more experienced than me on this first flip, and that's the power of the community. You can connect with other people and partner together to do these deals. So who are we? What is Renatus? Well, Renatus is the premier real estate investing education in the country. We have communities all across the nation. We have over 20,000 real estate investor students who are part of our community. And again, what we do is we offer 52 classes taught by millionaires. And guys, this is worth at least $54,000, if not more. Again, the Rich Dad program, they charge as much as $100,000, and they had half the classes, and they only lasted a year. You get lifetime access with this, and they're always adding new classes. You don't pay a dime for no upgrades, no upsells. It's a one-time fee. The tax classes, oh my gosh, there's 4 classes, 2 directly on taxes, 2 on retirement accounts. I'm going to show you some cool pieces from that a little bit later, but you know, I'm saving $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, but I think conservatively, you know, in a yearly return on investment, you could save $12,000. Velocity banking, I'm gonna show you what that is. It's a powerful way to pay off your mortgage quickly. But those classes are worth about $16,000. There's 2 of those, and when you see what I teach you, you'll understand why that's worth at least $16,000. Not to mention, you get 6 individualized, personalized sessions with Gavin McCaleb, who's done over 200 deals. He also happens to be a psychology PhD, which is kind of cool. But this is, you know, other gurus charge $12,000 for their mentoring. These other real estate programs, I'd say $6,000 is very reasonable for the value you're going to get from this. Then we have lawyer-approved real estate contracts. You know, I had a lawyer charge me over $1,000 for 3 forms. You guys get dozens approved by a lawyer, and really this is worth at least $2,500. I think a lot of people would charge a lot more. Now, I'm looking for 12 people to be in my real estate team. This is, I like to call them the determined dozen. And here's what you guys get for joining my team with the determined dozen. You get all these real estate classes, the taxes, the velocity banking, the one-on-one coaching, and the real estate contracts, which is worth around $90,000. That's, you know, a lot more than most companies give, for even more than that. But we're gonna, if you join my group with the determined dozen, you're gonna get all this for $20,000. $20,000 for everything. So you might be asking yourself, well, that's not a small price. And I would agree with you. I mean, it's especially for me. I remember when I got started, it was a big financial commitment. But you got to stop thinking about how much it costs, and you got to start thinking about how much it can make you. Okay, what kind of return are you going to get on your investment? So I'm going to show you 4 pillars of wealth, 4 ways that you can get a massive return on your investment. So let me pull up my tablet here because I want to draw a few things out for you guys. Okay. So again, we call these the 4 pillars of wealth. The first pillar is doing a real estate deal. Guys, I showed you just a small portion of the deals that I've done, and you know, the minimum profit that I like to make on a deal is $25,000. So doing one deal could pay off your entire education. I've had 2 of my students who I'll show you who have done a deal in their first week. Now, that's not common, but I've got a plan for you to really help you jump into a deal and do one right away. So that's a great way to get a return. Then I mentioned the tax classes. So the tax classes are super powerful. So just to give you an idea, the average W-2, the average number of deductions is 13. If you're a self-employed, if you're a business owner, a real estate investor, you have over 400 deductions. We're going to show you how to utilize all these deductions. So, for instance, I recently went on a cruise with my family, four boys, soon to be 5. My wife's pregnant, and we flew to Puerto Rico. Now, I had a member of my community who is from Puerto Rico, so I said, hey, why don't you come down and let's look for a property? And we did. We looked for a day, went and looked at some properties, found some really interesting stuff. And because I went and searched out for some properties, a lot of this trip is now a tax write-off. Okay, you're going to learn strategies about paying your children, getting write-offs for that. I'm going to show you my retirement plan. It's going to blow your mind. And again, you can do deals in your retirement account and grow that money tax-free. It's huge. So that's a huge benefit. Now, the next pillar that I'm going to talk about is called velocity banking. Okay, so that's, again, the velocity of paying off your house quickly. So let me show you how this works. So if I asked you, what would you rather pay, 4% interest or 21% interest, what would you answer? Well, most people would say, well, duh, of course I'd rather pay 4%. Now, what if I told you that this was a mortgage and, oh, sorry, my handwriting's terrible. See, I'm just a totally ordinary guy. Just pushing it. Anyway. So, and this was a credit card. Would that change your mind? Well, for most people, you'd say, oh, that's all the more reason to go with this, right? Because we're kind of taught that mortgage debt is good and credit card debt is bad. And that's because a lot of people use credit cards for stupid things and consumer purchases, which is stupid debt, okay? But I'm going to show you how, if you're disciplined and do this the right way, a credit line can actually be by far the better option. And here's why. Because of front-loaded interest. If you look at your bank statement, you're going to notice, if you're early on, you're paying 70 to 80% of your payment is going to interest. And they can say it's a 4% loan because, hey, down here by the end, you're paying, 0.1% interest. But how many people do you know make it all the way to the end of a 30-year mortgage? Almost nobody does. Let's face it. The average, in fact, is 5 to 7 years. So they finally make it down to where they're paying 60% interest. And then, dang, they get started right back because someone tells them they need to refinance to save $100 a month. And they refinance that loan, and now they're paying 80% again to save $100 a month. So that's how these bankers work. They're tricky, and they end up keeping you in this loop of paying high amounts of interest for the rest of your life. Now, a credit line, on the other hand, is very different because of two main things. It's flexible. How many of you online here have a checking account? Think about that. Raise your hand if your checking account is making you a great deal of interest. Yeah, probably not. Okay, probably like 0.1%. Now, what if I could show you a way that instead of putting all your money into a checking account, you could attack your debt with your entire income? Wouldn't that be great? So what you're going to do is you're going to get a home equity line of credit, or you can even do this with a credit line. It's the same principle. So a HELOC. So you get a HELOC, and And here's the thing. You can put all your income into this home equity line of credit because you can pull it out at any time. If your car breaks down, you've got money in that home equity line of credit that you can pay for that broken down car. So that way, why have a savings account? Why have a checking account? Put it all against your debt. And then when you need it, you can just write a check. Write a check. Okay, so that flexibility is a huge reason. The other reason is because your payments go down as you pay it off. So let me illustrate this. Let's say you had $10,000. You made an extra $10,000 this month. Okay, woohoo! If you put it into your mortgage, you can't get it out, right? It's stuck. It's gone. And does your monthly payment go up, down, or stay the same? Well, it stays the same. Now, if you put that same money into a home equity line of credit, your payment is going to go down because you owe less money. You're only paying based on what you owe on a daily basis. So your payment goes down. That extra $10,000 is going to go down quite a bit. And you're going to have more money, more cash flow left at the end to pay it off even more quickly. All right, so let me illustrate this with an example. Okay, so let's say the average American has $12,000 in non-home debt, okay? And then let's say the average American's making about $4,000 and they have $3,000 in expenses. So most Americans are just going to throw that in a checking account, pay their bills, and they're going to be paying off this debt for 5 to 30 years. I mean, I know 60-year-olds who still are paying off their debt from their PhD, right? Some of my fellow professors. Okay, so here's what you can do. Instead, you're going to put all of your income, say the $4,000, you're going to put that into your credit line at the beginning of the month because you don't need a checking account anymore. So how much do you owe? You owe $8,000. Then you have your expenses. They come out of that same account, that HELOC, that home equity line of credit. So now you owe $11,000, right? Because it went up a little bit. Next month comes along, you put your entire income into your HELOC. $7,000, right? Pay your expenses. It goes up to 10, and so on, right? So you can see by doing this strategy, what normally would have taken you 5 to 30 years is now going to take you 9 months. Pay off your entire debt in 9 months. Wow. I would love to show you how this works with your property, with your mortgage. I could run your numbers. If you book a strategy call with me, a free strategy call, I'll run your numbers. I'll show you how this works with your example. Because again, most people don't get this on the first go around, but the key is this. Poor mindset folks use cash as currency. They put their money in their bank account. The wealthy use credit lines as their currency. They pay for everything out of their credit line, and they use cash as velocity. They attack their debt with their entire income to pay it off quickly. How fast could you pay off your house? And what difference would that make in your life? I've got a house that we're going to be, had 26 years left on it. We're going to pay it off in 11 years. And the cash flow on this rental property is going to go up from $500 a month to $1,250 a month. So we're going to have an extra $1,250 a month for those extra 15 years. Guys, that's $135,000 in additional revenue that rental is going to bring me because I paid it off 15 years earlier using this strategy. Imagine if you have over 30 properties like I do. and you're using this strategy on all these properties to pay them down fast. And just to show you what that can do, when you get all these properties paid off, 10 houses, at least here in Utah, 10 of these are the average cash flow on a paid off property is $1,000 a month. Times that by 10, and 10 properties are going to give you $10,000 a month. So you just got to think of how much do you want? How much would you be satisfied with? For me, I want to get, in the next 10 years, I want to have 100 properties paid off. So we're talking a nest egg, a golden goose laying me $100,000 check. Actually, even more, right? Well, $100,000 a month, and it's still growing. It's not depleting. I have this as a retirement, and I still have the value of all those properties sitting there. It's pretty awesome, right? I love this. Okay, so that's velocity banking. Again, in a strategy session, if you're interested in that, I can show you more about how that works. Okay, so when you fill out the little form, just mark that you're interested in learning more about the velocity banking and seeing an example with your house. Now, the last wealth pillar, so we talked about doing deals, talked about taxes, we talked about velocity banking. The last thing I wanted to talk about here is the referral program. So we have a referral program. Not everybody does it. Some people just focus on real estate, right? But here's what I love about the referral program is that I tell people about Renatus, and they join me, and we do deals together. So that helps me find more deals because I got more real estate partners. And it pays really well. In fact, 4 referrals will pay off your entire $20,000 education. Okay, so that is a great bonus for those of you who are interested. Again, if you are interested in that opportunity, let me know, and I will talk to you more about it in the strategy call that I do with you. So let me actually show you one more thing about that referral program. Because we've got a fun leadership incentive trip that we're doing in the Caribbean this summer. And I really value referrals. I mean, people find so much value in this program that when they refer to me, I really make it worth their while. In fact, if you refer 2 people to me, I'm going to pay your plane ticket and pay for your all-inclusive resort down in the Caribbean. And you're going to have the chance to network with multimillionaires. So again, 2 referrals will qualify you for the trip. Literally, you could just send this link that you're watching, send it to someone else, and just let me know that you sent them, and boom. 2 more referrals will pay off your entire education. It's powerful. And again, if you want more details, I'll go into more depth into that in the strategy session. But this trip that we're taking they're going to announce it in a few weeks. But it's training from Renatus leaders, networking in paradise. It's going to be so much fun. I mean, in the past, we've gone to the Dominican Republic, to Cancun, other really fun places. So, guys, what does financial freedom look like to you? Well, for me, financial freedom is traveling with my family, because I love my wife and 4 boys. They mean the world to me. In fact, we're going to Hawaii really soon, and but this was us on our last trip to Hawaii 5 years ago. We stayed for 5 weeks. How many W-2 jobs will let you leave for 5 weeks to go hang out in Hawaii with your family? This is us hanging out in the Crater Lake, driving in our motorhome that, again, most of the time we ran out, but had a lot of fun driving it. This is us hanging out in a pool heated by a nearby volcano in Costa Rica. We were there for 3 weeks, had a blast. Here's New Zealand. This is the Dominican Republic. Went to Haiti, drove all around the island, took my beautiful wife, Olia. She's the love of my life. I just can't get enough of her. Anyway, in fact, she and I had a dream. We watched House Hunters International and decided, hey, we're going to, after we made over $100,000 on selling one of our properties, we're like, hey, we're going to go live in Fiji for 7 months. Why not, right? So we had the most incredible adventure, got to baptize my son in the ocean, got to go hike around these remote villages, eat this really weird food. Got to do a little side trip to Samoa. I love scuba diving. I never thought that I would jump in the ocean with 59-foot bull sharks. Oh. It was fun, though. I even reached out and touched one of the 2-footers. Okay. So, this is the house that we lived in, over an acre of property, views of the ocean. It was so amazing. In fact, our house search was featured on none other than House Hunters International, the very TV show that gave us the dream to go live abroad. They came out and filmed this. It was a wonderful experience. And, besides all those great adventures and traveling around with my family, I love to serve. And I had a lot of opportunities to help the local people while we were there. In fact, I was appointed as the president of the Young Men's Organization. Most of these guys had no father and no guidance. This is one of the campouts that we did in our front yard. I felt like I was really helping these people. In fact, I'm donating the cash flow from one of my properties to one of these young men who's out doing humanitarian service in the Philippines. So a lot of opportunities. When you have financial freedom, you can help people that you really care about. That's what I love about it. And you can live your other dreams. I mean, I love adventure. I went skydiving in Hawaii. It was scary, but fun. It's a lot of fun. And then, last June I decided it's time. I need to just buy my dream car. I was driving a Honda Civic. In fact, 2 years ago I didn't even have a car until 2 years ago, and I bought a Honda Civic because I just ride my bike to and from campus. I couldn't afford it as a professor. So it was pretty exciting to be able to say, what's my dream car really going to be? And as I did research and found out about how the Tesla can drive itself on the freeway and don't even have to have your hands on the steering wheel, I was sold. And it's the fastest car on earth. In fact, one of the models, the Roadster, goes 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. So fun, guys. Can't tell you how much fun I've had in this car. So, what do you want? And what do you want for your retirement? I mean, I bought 2 $5 million life insurance policies on my family. And it's weird because my wife, as much as I love her, she doesn't remind me to buckle my seatbelt anymore. When I told her I was going skydiving, she said, yeah, you should maybe go a couple times. I don't know why she would say that, but sorry. Anyway, it's great. And actually, I'm storing a lot of my wealth in my reserve account. People often say, well, isn't real estate risky? Well, not if you have a bunch of money sitting in your life insurance account in reserves to make sure that you can handle whatever problems come up. In fact, it's probably one of the safest forms of investing out there that makes you a huge return. So life insurance is a great tool. I told you that I would show you my entities. This is my entity structure. Following listening to all the Renatus courses, I got an S corporation that saves me on self-employment tax. I set up a 401k, contributed $101,000 to it. Set up one for my wife, contributed $51,000. and that was a tax write-off. Woohoo! And and then I set up a health savings account. Did you know that you can get a tax write-off for setting up a health savings account? And then you can buy properties within your health savings account, and it grows tax-free. I have 3 properties in my health savings account, and several properties in these 401ks. In fact, I just got back from the bank, and I bought my 3rd property in my wife's 401k. We set up IRAs, bought a property the week before in our IRA, tax write-off. Actually, or you can pay some tax up front and grow it tax-free, make it a Roth account. You're going to learn all about that. So these are all the entities to protect myself and to protect my income and save a ton of money on taxes. It's really phenomenal. So let's circle back to that story. You might remember me standing on the side of the road with my broken down car, wondering what in the world was I going to do next, until I learned one thing from Renatus that made all the difference, and that is called seller financing. Seller financing. I became the bank and offered this house to people who don't have great credit, but this particular guy put an $85,000 down payment, so I felt pretty secure. And as it turned out, I made total $109,000 profit on this house, which was a game changer. This was my first deal. How's that for a first deal? So, where am I going next? I always love to share my vision with people because I think it's really important. If you're going to jump in and invest with me, you need to know where I'm going. My goal is in the next 4 years, I want to get 100 houses. 100 houses, as I mentioned, with $100,000 a month in passive income, which is going to be great. It's going to take, I'm guessing, maybe 8 to 10 years to have them all paid off. So it won't be immediately to get that, but if I work hard, I'm gonna make this happen. I can't wait, and I'd love to do some of these with you. We could jump in and do some rentals together. My goal is to help turn ordinary people into extraordinary millionaires. My goal is to have 100 millionaires on my team of investors. Will you be one? I'd love to have you. You got to qualify, though, and that's why we need to have a strategy session with you. Okay, so make sure and book that strategy session below. But, you got to be ready to make the change. You got to be ready to get out of your comfort zone, out of mediocrity, and really make the change and take the plunge. I know it can be scary, but it is so worth it. So let me tell you what I'm going to do. Again, I've got this, I'm looking for 12 determined people because, guys, I'm not going to tell you that this is easy. I'm not going to tell you that you're going to get every deal that you make an offer on, and it's not always easy. That's why you got to have a community. You got to have the support, but you also got to have some determination. So I'm looking for people who are really determined this year, 2018, to make a huge difference in their finances, to turn things around like I did, because I'm just a regular Joe. But I switch things around, okay? And here's what you get if you take action right away, okay? So I'm having a VIP group for action takers only. Napoleon Hill said this. He said, "The rich make up their minds quickly and change them slowly, while the poor make up their minds slowly and change them quickly." Think and Grow Rich. So ultimately, I want to spend my time with people who are action takers, who are gonna, be able to commit and make up their mind quickly, and then stick with something. So here's what I'm looking for in terms of the inclusion criteria for the VIP group. You need to commit and make a down payment of $2,000 within 48 hours. So 48 hours from now, we need to be on the phone and we need to make this commitment, okay? And then you're going to have, I know it takes a while to get, it's not overnight. It takes a little while to get funding together. So I'm going to give you 2 weeks to pay the rest. Now, those of you who are bold enough to take action right away are going to get the following bonuses. So we're having a Renatus National Conference here in a short, coming right up at the end of March. Now, I am willing to pay your ticket to come to this event. This is going to be powerful. You're going to see the power of 20,000 investors, and we're going to have thousands of them coming. And it's like a big reunion. You see all these people from around the country that you've connected with, that you're potentially doing deals with. I got a lady in Vegas that I'm just doing a fix and flip with, so I can't wait to see her and connect. In fact, I made one of my best friends, Jonathan Engel. We connected at a national event, and we've now traveled 6 countries together, and it's just been a great relationship. So, going to make friendships, and that's a lot of what Renatus is. It's a family, guys. It's a family. And I'm going to give you a one-on-one consultation. Pull you out during lunch or right before the event. We'll have a consultation to set up your business and get you on a strong track. Okay. Oh, and by the way, if you're looking for leadership opportunities, ways to grow and receive recognition for working hard, Renatus gives that to you. I mean, I've become a leader in the group, and these are some of the awards. Our founder and CEO, he is such an amazing man, Bob Steiner. This is the awards he gave me last year. So you're going to love this conference. I'd love to have you come out, and I'll pay for your ticket. That's bonus number 1. It's worth, I think, at least $3,000. I mean, the ticket isn't that much, but the experience is definitely worth at least $3,000, if not a lot more. And by the way, let me just say that these aren't Renatus bonuses. These are bonuses that I'm coming up with out of my own pocket for you, because I want to work with good, strong people, and I'm hoping that we're going to do deals together. And so I'm willing to invest in you. Okay, so bonus number 2. Scripts and formulas. I've talked to a lot of sellers, gotten a lot of houses under contract. I know what to say and how to say it. I'm going to train you on this, but I'm also going to give you scripts to read over and practice, right? So that you'll know exactly what to say to buy properties, and you're going to understand how to evaluate those properties, because I'm going to give you some formulas that, because a lot of people lose money on the purchase. I don't want you to lose money on the purchase. So I'm going to show you the formulas that I use so that you won't be losing money instead, so that you'll make a lot of money, okay? And then I'm also going to have video training on how to utilize these tools. Now, this kind of tool, other real estate investing education companies will charge thousands of dollars. I think it's worth at least $2,000, because it's those conversations, knowing what to say, that's going to help you get the deals under contract, right? So that's worth at least $2,000. Now, another bonus is the daily live instruction, because guys, you need support. Again, when the Rich Dad Group left town, I was left thinking, what do I do now? So that's why I have a call that I'm going to get you on every Monday morning, where we have different speakers talking about what they do and how they do it. And we just had one talk about contractors and how to find a good team and how to manage the team. So you're going to learn a lot and be able to answer questions at the end. On Tuesday night, there's a call with Coach Gavin McCaleb, who's done hundreds of deals, and you get to talk to him and ask questions, and he does a training for everybody. It's great. On Wednesday, now this I think is potentially one of the biggest game changers, is I'm offering for the determined dozen a chance for a mastermind call, where we'll talk every Wednesday morning. We'll talk about some of the challenges you're going through, and we're going to have an accountability session. So I'm going to ask you to report on how many offers you're making every week, how many people you're talking to about real estate every week, and you need to be on these calls. We're going to have that. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire if you'll let me. Okay, I want to get your permission, but if you're one of these determined dozen, you're the kind of person that you're going to be committed, and I know other things come up, and you might have to listen to some of the recordings, but we need you to really plug in, okay? And I know this might seem like a big time commitment, but honestly, most of the people on my team have had great success in 10 to 20 hours a week. I do need at least 10. If you can't give at least 10, this isn't for you, because this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, right? So, live training Thursday night. I have a private Facebook group that I'm going to invite you to, and you're going to have the chance to do live training. We go over the scripts, we practice, we role play, we analyze deals. I tell you about the recent deals that I've done and what I've been learning, so you get to learn through osmosis. This is a hands-on boot camp kind of stuff, guys. I can't wait to show you this. Now, this is going to go on for a year, and I don't know if I'll keep doing the mastermind in a year, but you're going to continue to get these other resources afterwards, too. So, powerful, powerful bonus. You know, the gurus, I call the gurus the people that are out selling all the other real estate education. They charge $16,000 for this easily. I'm going to charge it just I think it's worth 7.5. Now, I'm not going to charge you that, but that's how much it's worth, okay? The last bonus, VIP bonus number 4, is a 4-part action workshop. Okay, so I call these the Quick Start workshops. It's going to be hosted in Salt Lake City. I'd love to have you come out in person if you don't live in Utah already. But if you don't, we're going to record them and broadcast them to our VIP group. Okay, because this is a monthly workshop that we're going to hold. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to have training from several real estate pros. I am connected with some of the top real estate investors around the nation through this network. So we're going to have them come and train. And here's what we're going to focus on. We're going to start off by helping you find the deal, because that's the most important thing to get started with. How to find them. We're going to go over a couple finding strategies. We're going to show you how to make an offer. We're actually going to not end the day until you've all made at least 1 or 2 offers. So you get in the habit and you know how to do it and you have all your questions answered. Then the next step is to fund the deal. Once you've got the deal under contract, you need to fund it. So we're going to show you how to do that. We're going to take action and give you some resources for funding it. And then we'll have a 3rd workshop on how to fix it, how to get it ready, how to manage the crews, how to do all that fun stuff, because even if you rent it, you usually have to do some fixing. And then finally, the 4th step is to sell if you're going to flip it, or manage the deal. So we're going to go through some systems and show you some resources that I've used and some of my investor friends have used to really make this powerful. And not to mention, I mentioned you're going to have a chance to network with some really powerful real estate investors. You're going to learn from them and have the chance to connect with them at a deeper level. Now, again, guys, I've seen people charge as much as $20,000 for something like this. 4 workshops, golly. So I think the value is at least in the neighborhood of $8,596. So let's talk a little bit about what you're going to get. Because actually, I'm going to show you that you're going to get all those things included. Included for the $20,000, just one fee. I'm going to come out of pocket and spend all my time with the training and paying your tickets, and all that stuff is included in your $20,000. Wow, wow, man, I can't imagine if someone had offered me something like this when I was getting started. Whew. Okay, so let me show you. I mean, guys, I'm trying to make this a no-brainer. I'm trying to make this just as easy as a decision. I know it's never easy to decide to spend that much money, but I'm trying to make it really just a clear and easy decision for you by offering so much value. I've never, ever offered a group this much value before, and I mean that. Okay, seriously. All right, so how do you pay for it? I'd love to have you on the team. How are you going to get started? Well, there's 3 main ways that people get started, and I'd say the first thing is, if you have a home equity line of credit, Why not use that? That's cheap interest, and I love the theory of it, guys. I mean, think about it like this. Think of your house, your primary residence. This is the chance to let your house have babies, okay? Because right now, let's say you've got all this equity sitting in an attic. Why not bring down that that servant that's sleeping in the attic and put him to work? Put him to work building other houses. Let your house have children and take the equity and learn how to get zero down. I mean, the deal I did last week, nothing out of pocket to get that property. So knowledge and connections, that's where the power is, guys. So what better use for your home equity line of credit than multiplying and replenishing the earth with more properties? Okay? So yeah, HELOC is a great way to go, and you can use that velocity banking strategy to pay it off quickly. Now, if you don't already have a HELOC, I wouldn't recommend this strategy because it can take a while, and I want to get you started now. In fact, if you want to get all these bonuses, you got to get started right away. So here's another great way that people use is retirement accounts. So your 401k, you can borrow 50% up to $50,000. Here's the cool thing. When you pay interest on this, you're paying yourself. You're putting more money into your 401k. Why not, right? And then, or you could get a loan from your life insurance policy if you have a whole life policy or index universal life. You could get a loan. Really easy, great way to do it. Okay, the third way that I love. Okay, this is probably my favorite, to be honest, because I love to travel. I love getting rewards points. And so here's what you can do. You can get 0% interest credit cards. I actually have over 300,000. So I can show you good ways to get it. And I use it for smart things. I don't use any of it for stupid purchases. I'm buying investments with these cards, okay? So it's not the bad debt. I know we're taught credit card debt is bad debt, but not if you're using it for a business purchase that's going to make you money, like jumping into Renatus and learning how to invest in real estate. So let me show you how it works. I'm often able to get, if your credit's good, I'm often able to get you at least $30,000, if not more. And we're going to use $20,000 to get you started in the education. That leaves you with $10,000 left. Now, here's the cool thing. This is how you get your education without any money out of your own pocket, and you get rewards points, right? For making the purchase, you have $10,000 left, and that's your payment on that $20,000 is going to be right around $200 a month. So how many times does 200 go into 10,000? 50 times, 50 months. So that means that's about 4 years before you're pulling any money out of your own pocket because you bought it with other people's money through credit, through 0% credit cards, and then you're making the payments with the last card of $10,000, $200 payments a month. You can do a balance transfer of some of that into your bank account, make that payment very easily, and you're going to be able to float that debt for 4 years. Let me ask you this question. Can you do a deal and pay this off in 4 years? Well, if the answer is no, I don't want you on my team. I don't want you to be part of the Determined Dozen or the VIP group, okay? Because I want people who learn from the get-go how to use other people's money. That's the name of the game in real estate, using other people's money and to make responsible purchases that are going to make you money. That's how it works. So, and some people might say, well, what if I'm in the middle of my HELOC and I can't, I don't want to touch my credit. Well, here's a great thing. If you're married, why not have your wife or your husband, whichever one, have your spouse apply for 0% credit cards? That's not going to affect your HELOC at all, and then you can get started right away. I had someone that just did that last week. He joined the Determined Dozen. His wife got it on. She got $32,000. So it's a great way to do it and make things happen and get started right away. So this is kind of the key ways that I would recommend getting started with this. Okay, so let's jump back. I have just a few more things to share with you, then we'll wrap up. All right, so let me just tell you about a few other team members who have done deals with me, what results that they've seen, because that's really important. And I'm actually preparing a slideshow that I can send you if you want to see more deals and more people doing deals. But I've got 78 team members who have helped get involved in a real estate transaction. That's amazing. I mean, and a lot of it's mostly them, but I'm just so amazed at all the people who have taken action and made this happen. It's overwhelming. Okay, so let me show you a couple of them. Joe Allen, he says, I've been a realtor for several years, but Nate taught me how to see deals differently. After my first week in his program, I locked down this house that should make us over $95,000 in profit. That was a pretty awesome deal, Jode. So George and Roxy Allen said this, I didn't think I'd have time for real estate since I had a full-time job and serve as a pastor in my church. But with Nate's help, I acquired 11 rental properties in 6 months and have now quit my job. I'm so glad that I took the plunge. Guys, I mean, if you have time concerns, if that's an issue for you, I always talk about George. I mean, if you're a pastor and working full-time and you can pull out 11 properties in 6 months, like, if he can do it, you can do it, okay? Joyce and Kevin Booth said this, Nate got us into a seller finance deal within a week of joining his program, and 15 days later, we made $23,000, more than it cost us to get started. He was also helpful in getting us going on our first flip. We're so grateful for this experience, and it was worth every penny. Nick Kazakow says, shortly after joining Nate's program, we partnered on a motorhome that cash flowed as much as $6,000 in a month. I now have a fleet of 5 of them. He's killing it, yeah. I'm doing several fix and flips, have replaced my income, and quit my job. His program was a life changer. How would you like to fire your boss? Because it costs you too much to be working for him. That's what Nick's situation was like. Garrett Reed says, I started Nate's program about 18 months ago, and it absolutely launched my real estate career. I just completed my 20th transaction. It's been such a rewarding experience, and I can't thank Nate enough. So thanks, Garrett. Means a lot. He's a great friend of mine. We've done 4 deals together now. The last one, as I mentioned, was 0 down. And we got it from another member of the community, right? Sold it to us. So just so powerful what you can do. So just to review here, if you want to be a part of the Determined Dozen, here's my exclusive offer for you. So you got your real estate classes, your tax classes, your velocity banking classes, your one-on-one coaching, real estate contracts, 3-day national conference. This is, and these last 4 are for VIP only. Real estate scripts and formulas, daily group training, 12 months. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm giving all this away. 4-part action boot camp, again, VIP only. I've never done something like this before. I don't know if I'll have the time ever to do this again, but I really wanted to dial it in with 12 people and really see some results. the total value on this is $111,000. And guys, again, I can't believe I'm offering this, all these bonuses that are taking my time and money, and literally you're getting charged the same price that everyone else gets. $20,000. So here's what my call to action. Let's talk. Okay, let's book a strategy call by clicking on the button below. Let's talk about this. If you're on the fence, let's talk. I'll show you how you can pay off your mortgage in 5 to 10 years without even changing your income. Okay, let's talk about if you're interested in the referral program. Let's talk about that. Let's do a game plan. Here's one of the things I really want to talk to you about, though. I'm going to reveal the 3 most important traits in real estate. Okay, in real estate success, and because I don't want to work with anybody. I don't want other people. I don't want you to be a drag on the system that I'm trying to create to really get things rolling for these 12 people. So, I want to talk to you and find out if you're really a fit. You got to have certain characteristics that I'm going to talk about in our strategy call. Okay, and you should plan about 45 to 60 minutes for the strategy call. Now, so if I feel like you are a good fit, then we're going to create a personalized game plan, a 12-month game plan to implement my wealth building system. So we'll create that game plan, and so all I need you to do is click on the button below to schedule your strategy call with me. Now, again, you're just going to choose a time. I've cleared a lot of things on my schedule because I want to spend the next few weeks really selecting these 12 individuals. So I've created some time. Pick a time that's going to work for your schedule, and just follow the instructions that I give you. And let's see what we can do to make this happen. Let me just end by saying this, guys. This program has changed my life. I went from being a financially illiterate professor to, owning over 30 properties and flipping 11 properties in 2.5 years. I mean, that's just from an ordinary guy. I'm just an ordinary guy like you. There's no reason you can't do this if you have the right traits, right? So we're going to talk about that. But ultimately, I guess why I'm doing this is because it's made such an impact on me, and I just want to pay it forward. I want to pay it forward and help someone the way I was helped. I want to be able to do some massive good with you. I want to go out there and do some humanitarian work with you, and create that financial freedom so that you can help the people in your life that you want to help. So let's talk. Book a strategy call with me now, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining.